Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something straight up. Have you ever felt like money is this big mystery? Like no matter how much you make, it slips through your fingers like water? Yeah, I've been there. But what I learned over the years is this: money has rules. And once you understand those rules, you stop playing the game like a rookie and start winning like a pro. Money is one of the most misunderstood forces in the world. People chase it, worship it, fear it, and even judge themselves by how much of it they have or don't have. But the truth is this: money is just a tool. That's it. It's not good or bad. It's not moral or immoral. It doesn't define who you are. It simply reflects and amplifies who you already are. Think of it like a mirror or a magnifying glass. If you're disciplined, generous, and focused, money will expand those traits. If you're careless, selfish, or reactive, it'll do the same. The only difference is the more money you have, the louder those traits get. Too many people treat money like the destination, as if once they hit a certain number in their bank account, everything else in their life will fall into place. But that's the wrong way to think about it. If money is the goal, you'll always feel empty no matter how much you make. Why? Because you're chasing something external to fill something internal. That never works. You'll get the car, the house, the vacations, and still feel like something is missing. That's because fulfillment comes from purpose, from growth, from contribution, not from a bank balance. Now, when you start viewing money as a tool, your entire relationship with it changes. You stop asking, how can I get more? And start asking, what can I do with what I already have? You start thinking strategically, you start building systems, you stop reacting to every financial situation with fear or greed, and instead you approach your finances with clarity and control. You use money to create options, to buy back time, to invest in yourself and others. That's when money starts working for you instead of the other way around. And here's the part most people miss. Money doesn't change you, it reveals you. If you're insecure, more money won't make you secure. If you're ungrateful, more money won't make you content. If you're reckless, more money will just increase the damage. That's why it's so critical to focus on who you're becoming as you pursue wealth. Because if you become someone who can manage, grow, and respect money, the money will come and it will stay. But if you skip that part, you may earn it, but you'll lose it just as fast. We've all seen it. Lottery winners going broke, athletes and entertainers filing for bankruptcy, business owners making millions but living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because their internal systems, their mindset, habits, and character weren't built to support the level of money they received. They saw money as the goal, not as a tool. And without the foundation, everything collapsed. When you understand that money is a multiplier, you start making better decisions. Not just financial ones, but personal ones. You start focusing on building habits that serve you: saving, investing, giving, learning, delaying gratification. And those habits, when multiplied by money, become powerful forces. So don't chase money, chase mastery, chase growth. Because when the right person meets the right amount of money, incredible things happen. There is a lie most people believe, and it sounds like this: if I just made more money, all my problems would go away. But the truth is, income doesn't fix poor habits. It doesn't cure financial stress. It doesn't automatically build wealth. What actually builds wealth, what gives you freedom, peace, and options, is discipline. It's not how much you earn that matters, it's how you manage what you earn. Without discipline, even a high income can lead to debt, stress, and broken dreams. But with discipline, even a modest income can be turned into something powerful. It's easy to assume that someone making 6 or 7 figures has it all together financially. But many of those people are barely keeping their heads above water. They look rich on the outside: nice cars, big houses, luxury vacations. But behind the curtain, they're leveraged to the max. They've built a lifestyle, not wealth. And the moment the income stops, everything collapses. That's what happens when there's no discipline. That's what happens when spending follows emotion, when tracking money feels like a burden, and when short-term pleasure overrides long-term vision. Discipline is boring. It's unsexy, it's not flashy or fun to talk about, but it's the foundation of every lasting success story. Discipline means creating a budget and sticking to it. It means saving when you'd rather spend. It means investing consistently even when the market is down. It means saying no to things you want now so you can say yes to bigger things later. It means living below your means even when your income grows, because your future matters more than impressing strangers. There are people making $50,000 0 cents a year who will retire wealthier than people making $500,000 0 cents. That's not a fluke. It's the power of consistent, disciplined action. Because when you control your money, you gain the one thing money is supposed to give you: control over your life. And control doesn't come from income, it comes from intention. Discipline creates margin, and margin gives you options. When you live with financial discipline, you're not panicking when an emergency happens. You've got an emergency fund. You're not stuck in a job you hate. You've got savings to pivot. You're not drowning in debt. You're building equity. And none of that happens by accident. It happens because you made the decision to prioritize stewardship over spending. The truth is, most people don't have an income problem. They have a behavior problem. They don't need more money. They need more clarity, more structure, and more commitment to the process. Because the process works, but only if you work it. There's no shortcut. You have to build the muscle of saying no to the unnecessary, of tracking your expenses, of thinking long term when everything around you screams short term. In the end, discipline isn't about restriction. It's about freedom. It's about designing a life that's not controlled by bills, debt, or the next paycheck. So no matter where you're starting from, remember this: income can open the door, but discipline decides whether you walk through it or waste the opportunity. Wealth doesn't happen overnight. It's not something you stumble into by accident or win like a prize. The truth is, real wealth is built. It's constructed slowly, brick by brick, over time. People love to talk about luck, timing, or being in the right place at the right moment, but those are distractions from what really creates lasting wealth. Small, consistent actions repeated over years with discipline and patience. The people who seem like they got rich quick often spent years preparing for that moment. What looks like an overnight success is usually the result of a decade of unrecognized effort. We live in a world obsessed with speed. Everyone wants instant results, instant income, instant recognition, instant freedom. But money doesn't care about your timeline. Wealth responds to habits, not wishes. It's built through simple things done repeatedly: spending less than you earned, investing early and often, avoiding unnecessary debt, tracking your numbers, and continuing to learn. None of these actions are flashy. In fact, most of them are quiet. But over time, their compound effect becomes powerful. The problem is that consistency doesn't feel rewarding in the short term. You don't feel rich after saving $100, 0 cents. You don't feel successful after investing a small percentage of your paycheck. You don't feel like anything's changing, but wealth is invisible in the beginning. It builds in the background while everyone else is distracted by quick wins and risky bets. And then one day, the person who made those small choices every day wakes up with options, security, and freedom, while others wonder what their secret was. It's easy to chase the big swing, the one investment, the one business idea, the one opportunity that will change everything. But that mindset often leads to disappointment. Chasing big wins creates pressure, stress, and impulsive decisions. The people who win with money understand that building wealth is like growing a tree. You plant, water, and wait. You don't dig it up every week to check on it. You let time do its work. Time, consistency, and smart decisions are the real formula. And even when you do get lucky, let's say you come into a large amount of money, if you haven't built the mindset and habits to handle it, that money will slip away. That's why lottery winners go broke. That's why athletes and entertainers can earn millions and still end up in debt. It's not the money that builds wealth, it's the mindset behind it. You must become the kind of person who knows how to grow and protect wealth before you ever see it in your account. The most powerful thing about this truth is that it makes wealth accessible to anyone. You don't need to be born into the right family. You don't need to have a six-figure job. You don't need to hit some magical opportunity at the right moment. You just need to start. Start where you are with what you have, take small steps, be consistent, and stay patient. Because at the end of the day, the person who takes one small step every day for years will go farther than the person who runs hard for a week and burns out. The secret to making money isn't hidden in some complicated formula or insider tactic. It's rooted in one simple principle that's often overlooked. Money flows to value. The more value you create for others, the more wealth you attract. Value creation is the engine of every successful business, career, and investment. If you're not making the money you want, chances are you're not solving problems at a high enough level. People don't get paid for showing up. They get paid for the problems they solve and the outcomes they deliver. It's easy to confuse effort with results, but the marketplace only rewards results. When you start focusing on serving others, your mindset shifts. You stop asking, how can I make more money? And instead ask, how can I solve a real problem that matters to someone? That question leads to innovation, service, and excellence. The biggest paydays go to the people who bring solutions to the biggest pain points. Whether you're a freelancer, an entrepreneur, an employee, or an investor, the equation is the same. Value first, reward second. Some people think making money is selfish, but the truth is the most successful people in the world are constantly serving others. They build tools, offer services, create content, or design products that improve people's lives in some way. When you create value, you're not taking from others, you're giving. And when you give generously, consistently, and with intention, the marketplace responds with gratitude in the form of income, opportunities, and growth. This is why you see ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. They found a niche, a gap, a problem that no one was addressing, and they stepped up. They listened, they learned, and they offered a solution. Some of the best business ideas don't come from boardrooms or billion-dollar think tanks. They come from listening to people complain, observing where there's friction, and asking, how can this be better? The person who answers that question with clarity and execution becomes valuable, and value always gets rewarded. You don't need $1 million idea. You need to find one real problem and solve it well. You don't need to reach everyone. You need to reach someone and serve them better than anyone else. The marketplace isn't looking for perfection, it's looking for usefulness. And once you prove yourself useful, once you become known for solving a problem effectively, you'll never have to chase money again. Money will find you because people will find you. Value creation is a mindset. It's a way of approaching everything you do, from how you show up at work to how you treat your clients to the quality of what you deliver. When you adopt this mindset, you stop competing on price and start standing out for impact. You stop selling and start serving. And in the long run, service always wins. The person who becomes obsessed with solving problems becomes indispensable. And in today's world, being indispensable is the most valuable currency of all. When you commit to value, wealth becomes the byproduct, not the pursuit.